another live stream on the internet. Today, I am chilling and playing some Minecraft. Wow, who would have thought that? No, today I figured, let's work on lighting up that world thing. This is actually one of the weirdest things we've done today, and just in case you're watching this without watching the previous little stream thing we did, midway through a stream I was like, you know what? I think I'm done here. I could push myself forwards through something I didn't want to do, but then I decided, actually, we don't have to do that. The cool thing about the internet, and hopefully about your decision to be here, is that you don't actually need to be doing something. You don't need to be somewhere doing something you don't want to be. At least that's the hope. Maybe it would be better for me to force through that some more. But I instead decided, let's instead light up the world with some torches. So in case you don't know, I chopped down a bunch of wood in a previous stream, and now we're gonna smelt up all of that wood into some nice little torches. It's gonna be great. Also, thank you, KONA. But we're gonna be smelting it into some nice charcoal, which will make some nice torches. And yeah, basically, while we do that, we're gonna be lighting up the world. So as we smelt down some charcoal to make some torches, we're gonna be obviously at the same time placing torches across our world, because we're lighting up the entire thing. That felt like the least smooth way to say an intro, but this stream isn't gonna be smooth. Some things in life are deliberately planned, well put together, smooth products. They are things that are designed to be consumed. But this is kind of like I've always seen it this way, and maybe it should be more commercial. I should be like, hey, people should be like, Bauk, where is your body? Where is your body? More people should be questioning where my body is and giving me money to do so. Huh. That was random. My internet went down for like 4 seconds. It's perfect, because at the time I was like, do you ever hang out with friends and you just don't know, you don't really know if you're enjoying it, and, it feels like you are. I mean, like, you wouldn't be hanging out unless you did, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I'm not convinced that I am perfectly, enjoying this thing. It's a very, very bizarre, feeling to me. But it also is, I know, it's just that reminder that, like, there are lots of things that are good, but not unequivocally so. Like, some things are so clearly good, right? Many of the tales we tell ourselves, like, especially in stories, because, like, when a story is told, we can simplify out the crinkles of humanity, of good and bad, and we can turn them into, unbeatable, unequivocal, undisputable good. Like, oh yeah, when there also pandas rolling around, isn't it adorable? Still to this day, I find that to be cute. But it's a good thing that pandas roll, right? They're cute. There's no arguing with pandas. That's kind of like why we like animals. American Tiger Tax. Thank you, Raimo. But yeah, so also, what is down there? Okay, there is a torch. I was like, there has to be one. Also, we are having some stream issues today, huh? I am very sorry. How connected do you feel to your viewers? I wonder what is happening. It depends on the viewer. Like, honestly, the idea of, like, one set of viewers, it makes sense when a channel is, like, when you have, like, 100 subscribers, you can vaguely all be on the same point. But as you get a larger group of people, there are subscribers that are, like, super, that I would say I feel connected with. They're like, oh yeah, they're like friends from another universe. And there are subscribers who are like, I would, like, I get, you're not meant to say this as a YouTube, like, we wouldn't get along in the slightest. Their presence here, like, I believe in letting anyone, come over and, if you want to enjoy my company, it doesn't matter if I dislike you. You can do that on the internet because it doesn't hurt me. But, like, when there are some people who are like, I don't think you understand what being friendly is like. I don't think you know what it's like to be an enjoyable person to be around. My evening has not been lit up. I want a refund. You know what? How about we light it up? Given that we just did an acid stream, kind of makes sense that, like, let's light up for this stream, huh? I missed the opportunity entirely, and I feel disappointed in myself for allowing that to pass. But yeah, so, we should get a cup of tea sometime. Who's to say that you're not one of the people that I wish was not here? So you don't know for sure with super vague terms. like that, do you? It's funny because the sort of people who assume that they're not the sort of person I'd like to be around are probably the sort of people who I would. Like, anyone who thinks about, like, are the people who consider, like, are people going to enjoy what I'm doing? Background music is broken. One sec, I want to hear this. Huh. It is, it's working for me. Huh. You know, this is the most cursed stream. I don't know why now is the time. Wait, am I still uploading it? Okay, no, I'm finished uploading. Man, this is, but like, you know, there are some people, like, there's this one guy who became a member, and every now and then he just spams. He doesn't spam anything important, he's just like, I'm gonna spam. And we're like, you know, we use our ability and we're like, you know, we'll only temporarily time you out. We won't ban you. You know, you're clearly a member. And then he does it every time. I'm like, why do you show... It's the equivalent of someone, like, showing up to a conversation, being like, ah! And then when you say, could you leave? He's like, okay, sure. And then he comes and does it again. It's like, do you think we enjoy this? Do you enjoy this? I don't know which is more confusing, you know, thing, right? But like, you know, I know there's so many examples of this where like people, I have a subscriber that just emailed me once, like who was like, hey, I've been watching the videos for a few years. I'll pay you for I think it was a Dungeons code. It was some game they wanted a code for, and they offered me. Also, I'm sorry about your mother getting robbed, Derek Morel. Again, being robbed is like one of the worst feelings. I can't imagine. Well, I can imagine actually because I have been robbed, but that sucks. I'm sorry. I mean, actually not. I don't know why your mother being robbed is like bad for you, but like I'm just gonna ignore that and say, you know, condolences. If you feel bad, it doesn't matter whether the thing is bad or not. But no, yeah, there's so this one. Can I tell you a story? Let's just gossip. That's all humans are meant for anyway, right? Like we might like to think that we're so smart, but we just end up gossiping anyway. Oh, also we have these to line up with every 6 blocks, although those aren't lined up. Well. You know, maybe they're not lined up in the slightest. But, yeah, let's just gossip hour with Toy Cat. Does that sound good, friends? Someone once, like, they sent me an email being like, hey, Toy Cat, I really desperately need to get my hands on a code for a thing that I happen to have a thing for. I'll pay you $20, just give me the code. And I was like, hey, I don't, you know, I won't charge you $20. Here is a code. You know, thank you for watching the videos, etc., etc. Like, I was like, you know, I'll just give the thing, whatever. Like, you know, I tried to be nice because it's, you know, maybe that's the sort of thing that someone appreciates. But then that was like, that's what I thought was the kind of end of that one. But then they send back an email like a few days later, being like, oh yeah, the code worked, but I applied it on the wrong account and I really wanted to play with my daughter. And I was like, okay, this is my last code. You can have that one as well, dude. Because, you know, they... and then, like, the thing that, like, broke me, because, like, sure, it's a bit cheeky to ask for, like, you know, someone is, like, nice and gives you a thing for free. It's a little cheeky to be like, actually, could I have another one? But the thing that, like, broke me and makes me go, ah, this is why I hate human beings, is, I then got another email back, like, the day after, maybe, being like... yeah, oh, thank you for the code, really enjoying it. Can I have one for my, like, cousin or something? And, or it was for his uncle, or his nephew, I think it was. And I was like, no, you're not, you have burned all the goodwill you have. I wish I could take back what I've, you know, like, I was generous to a person, and I wish I hadn't been. And that's, like, when someone, like, takes advantage of you and to the level where you're like, oh, yeah, now I hate it. And it's the worst thing because, like, that is the sort of person who isn't even thinking about what... You know, it's like I say, like, anyone who thinks, oh yeah, people don't enjoy being around me. If you think that, you probably are someone people at least tolerate being around. Probably enjoy, though. Because thinking for more than a split second about the impact you're having on the world. I don't know why that's so, like, far above the standard, but it seems like it is sometimes. And that's it's a tragedy because so many people like get burned because of that. So many people have been burned, and and then they, like, people who like, oh yeah, I hate people so much. Because I used to be one of those people. I used to call myself a misanthrope. And to this day, I don't know, I'm still not, like, in love with humanity. I love the collective humans, but, like, there are a lot of individual humans where I'm like, ugh, we could not be more different in our approaches to life. I'm really sorry, but I must go. I have to edit video, so I cannot stay. You're the best toy cat. Also, on behalf of chat, you're floating, so it's lagging. I don't think the floating and the lag have anything to do with each other. The floating's just because I'm wearing a green shirt. I can actually show you the color of the green if I, like, put it at a certain angle. You see this green? It's like an invisibility cloak if I face the camera directly. Anything not facing the camera directly is visible. It's very bizarre stuff. Don't tell yourself that no one enjoys being around you. Self-negativity is unhealthy. See, on the one, it is unhealthy, but also it's a valuable... Like, if everyone just had that some more, if we all hated ourselves a little bit more, we'd make the world a better place. Like, it's important to know when to love yourself as well, you know? Like, love is an important thing as well. But, like, in the same way that, like, other people can't just expect your love, ideally they should earn it. You know? I almost... this is bad attitude, but this is my attitude towards myself. Like, you know, I don't expect my love towards myself. I have to earn that, you know? Like, I have to do something that makes me proud of me, or I'm not gonna be proud of me, you know? Like, I don't think that's a healthy attitude for everyone, or maybe even for anyone. But I do want to mention that, like, being, you know, you have to sometimes be a parent to yourself. Sometimes you have to be a good parent. Sometimes you have to be an encouraging parent. Sometimes you have to be a punishing parent. Sometimes you just have to be like a neutral, balanced parent. You have to pull them all off. That's what it's like being a person. There are so many mobs spawning in this darkness, huh? This is to everyone in the toy chat who can't pay. Thank you, Corrugate Industries. Also, good job on using Streamlabs. You know, never appreciate that enough if we all do that. But you know, it's a rare talent, and good job for you having it. Hate yourself, vote Toy Cat 2020. Honestly, like, you can't say this. You gotta be like, everyone is great. And, like, everyone is great in their own way and serves their own roles and stuff. But also, like, if more people hated themselves, we would have a more productive everything, right? Like, the idea of, like, the idea of unconditional love and acceptance is great, but we as human, like, and, like, it would be nice if there were no strings attached to that. Like, it's a great idea. It's a wonderful idea. It's a perfect idea. Like, love without conditions is is that not what we all secretly seek? But the reason it's like, the reason it's a good idea and not a good, you know, practice to follow, is because, you know, for anyone else, let alone yourself, is because if you have unconditional love, then there's nothing, you know, like, as humans we thrive on changes and stuff. And if there's, if everything is unconditional, then why bother, you know? Which sound like, again, I wish that wasn't the case, but just it seems to be that more people work better when they have to do something. And it's one of those tragedies. I thought about this so much, like, I hate the idea that anything has to be done, right? I think it's more be real with yourself instead of hate yourself. Says Kelly Buzzard. Unconditional love can be abused too. Yeah, no, I just want to clarify, like, yeah, I'm not... I actually think self-hatred is just as damaging as... Like, unconditional self-hatred is just as damaging as unconditional love. Be real with yourself about when you've done a bad thing. Be real with yourself when it's out of your control, but you'd still like to do better. Like, unconditional love and unconditional hatred are both... You know, that once they seem like opposites, but they're two sides of the same coin. How much money would it take you to change your member music from Pigstep to Pigstep Kazoo? I haven't heard Pigstep Kazoo yet. I'll listen to it. Actually, it's probably not copy-strucken, right? Pigstep Kazoo. Pigstep Kazoo cover for 1 hour. You know... I feel like there are actual genuine, like, copyright concerns to doing that. I could be wrong. Maybe I am, maybe I'm I don't fully trust people with too much confidence. If you don't hate yourself a little, then I don't understand you. Yeah, like, a lot of,
Been watching your stuff for a while, never caught a stream till now, won some money on a scratch ticket while watching your stuff, so here's a tip for good luck. 3.
Hey, Jacob Militus. Thank you so much. First of all, congratulations on winning big, or medium at least. Second of all, new member song. Second of all, thank you for the good luck. I sometimes, the conversation about luck is a fun one we should have sometime. But for now, I just want to say, thank you, that's awesome. I've been, like, missing, like, every time I see scratch cards, I'm like, you know, that, what if, though? But, and I don't know why, it's like this, like, it's this thing where I'm like, every logical part of my body is like, I know the expected return is like 1/4 what you put in. I know that it's all predetermined the moment you buy it, and that like this, you know, it's not gonna. But then I'm like, ooh, but also roll those dice, you know. It's like a part. It's this like part of all of us that knows something is wrong but wants to do it anyway, you know. And that like call of the void, that like I don't want to do this thing, but yet I want to do this thing. You know, to me, it's a reminder of why, you know, we, also, the game audio is buzzy and weird. You know what, let's just fix that too. So, the stream will disappear for a second, and then it'll be fine. Okay, tell me chat, is it magically better? I don't know. I think that's the ideology of a gambling addict. Just reload your save to get better luck. Back in the day, one of the guys I used to, like, know secondhand, there used to be this, again, I don't know how this was a thing, like, in the Minecraft 360 community, there was this guy who was, like, the wildest stoner, like, his whole channel was built around his, like, weed persona. Thank you, Drunk Wizard. First time tax payment. I want to ask you if any tips for starting a YouTube channel, or maybe what not to do. The easiest thing to do when starting a YouTube channel, and I'm not going to pretend that I'm not, like, folly to this as well, is to be like, here's something that already exists. I just need to do this 1% as good, and then I can make a bunch of money. Because the reality is that anything there's an existing channel for, someone's already found their thing. Unless there's like, there are some cases where like being a worse version of something will lead you to be mildly successful. But I see so many channels that are just like, oh, I see a thing. It already exists, so I'll just do it and be almost as good at it. And it's like, almost as good is not quite the same thing. So thank you, Mr. Drunk Wizard. Glad to help you out. Hey, thank you for actually making me feel better today. I had 18th on the ip and had a mental breakdown the day after. And I've kind of been down since, so thanks. Hey, you're welcome, Mr. Cody. I am glad that the streams help you even a little bit. It's surprising how many people say that. Like, when I first got one, I was like, okay, well, I mean, like, watching anything can help you. Do you remember how, maybe this is just me that has this moment, and I'm, like, sharing a weird part of my development. But did anyone else used to watch, like, cartoons and, you know, like, TV shows? Mostly cartoons. But, like, you could enjoy them before you could enjoy them. Like, I remember, like, the first time I watched a show, and I wasn't just looking at it because, like, you know, just following the story. I remember, like, I laughed at something. Or, like, I was starting to follow the plot line, and I was like, oh, there's, like, a reason all these things happen. It's not a series of unconnected events. And that was, like, the biggest, like, mind blow for me, that, like, oh, that people don't watch these because they're just, like... But, like, yeah, it's a, in the same way, I feel like any YouTube video can be enjoyable, just because it's talking, right? I'm talking to you. I could be talking about the dark side of the moon, or coral reefs, or I could be talking about what I ate for breakfast last Tuesday, and there's something about like human contact with someone that you have some caring for, parasocial or not. Yeah, I want to see actually. Is anyone go through that same thing? Placing torches everywhere that feels obsessive compulsive but so satisfying. Honestly, it's just one of these weird projects that like will help me out in the long run, but for the sake of and also I'm hoping will make a moderately intriguing YouTube video. Like, whenever I do a project, I'm like, I hope someone cares about this. Because then I can justify it, all the hours we put in the meantime, by doing that. But I used to watch cartoons out of order and not realize there was a background plot to them. I think it's so dumb that they run cartoons out of order. Like, again, I know it clearly doesn't matter, like, to most people, and that's the logic. But like, why wouldn't you run them in order so people can work it out? Or maybe they did run them in order and I just missed certain episodes or something. But like, it blew my mind. And I was like, oh, there's like an order to these things. It's not just all random chaos that happens because it does. Your New Year's State Border video had me laughing out loud. Thank you, says Florida Man Ryan. Hey, you're a Florida man. As we all know, Florida is the crazy state where the crazy things happen. You could have been watching replays. I mean, it definitely was replays. Like, statistically speaking, right, most times you watch a cartoon, it's not going to be the first time it aired. It's going to be what's it called? A re-syndication, rebroadcast. Also, thank you, Luna X Neptune, for the $5 tip. But yeah, so in the same way, like, I'm always like, oh yeah, people just watch me because it's background voices. I find it weird that there are people who are like, yeah, this helps in some way. Like, I would love to, if you feel that way, I would love to hear in any form of detail you'd be comfortable giving. Because, I don't know, I guess the world just fascinates me. People within the world are also interesting. Imagine if they change how torches works, they require fuel in the cave update. One of the oldest ideas in Minecraft, actually, is the idea of torches slowly running out. Yeah, that's like the way to put it. And it's a super interesting one because it does, like, it's not like... It makes sense that they should, because unlimited torches running on the same fuel is a bit of a weird concept. But I think they've just ruled out, like, breaking existing builds unless it's absolutely essential. And that's why we can assume, like, it's probably not going to happen. 2 years ago, my brother told me there's no point in survival world. Also, thank you, Sharks, and also, oh, you made it yourself. Oh, that's awesome. There's no point in survival world once you kill the end dragon. That's when I started my knife connection. You have a knife collection in your Minecraft world? Or unless you're like, Minecraft's pointless and now it's done. But no, I think the idea of anyone, like, thinking Minecraft is ever done, like, doesn't know what the point of the Ender Dragon fight is, Like, there's a reason it respawns you straight into your Minecraft world and says, yeah, keep on going, punk. I bet you won't. Bet you can't. That's how I see it, at least. Your streams are comforting. It's like playing Minecraft, but I can just sit back. Yeah, it's relaxing. This is dumb, but relaxing is sometimes hard. Maybe it's just me. Maybe, like, most people are in relax mode by default all the time. But, like, when you work hard on something, or, like, even if you don't work hard, when you're just, like, sometimes you just need to be calm and relaxed and stuff. And it genuinely can be difficult. And I find that to be one of the most, like, it's one of the most painful issues, because you spend so much of your life just being like, oh yeah. Also, this is not lined up correctly. This is 255 and this is 262. Okay, it's good. We fixed it. It's one of the dumbest, like, there are some things that hurt to hear and hurt to say, because you're like, oh, but I want it to be true, and therefore it should be true. I know I've been thinking a lot about truths recently, and I don't know, like, so there's been lots of things happening, and therefore people have been getting very active about things, and that's good to care about the world around you. Double stream, green screen cat, double stream. Okay, you know what? Thank you, Juliana Bryant. Thank you very much. But yeah, no, the idea of there being, like, one chat is kind of weird, because I have it in my head, but also, do you see the difference between the last, like, 4 messages we got? And how, like, different they all are. Like, last tips we got, I guess. And if you look in the chat, it's even more disparate and diverse. I can't slow down, can't stop, can't relax, just lay there. It's getting so important, but I can't. That's probably song lyrics based on the lack of sense that it makes. Okay, let's grab some torches, or grab some charcoal. Let's make a bunch of torches and fill that inventory up. Nice. Okay, we got enough torches now, so let's fly over to a different part of the world. I guess we should start lighting up the mountain. You know, I started this video on the mountain. I guess we can finish it there too. Toy Cat Head be like, moo hi why. Chat is chaos, says Emily Fellows. Yeah, chat is this like unbound chaos. You know, like you average everyone out together. And you get this like noise, this signal that's like hard to really like boil down into any one thing. Honestly, that's the problem with like when you get large groups of people trying to work out like any individual opinion, trying to work out any collective opinion, I guess, because like every individual in a crowd has opinions, but when you get a big group of people together, those opinions like start to blur a little bit. Like have you seen recently? There's been some crazy things happening in some parts of America, and some people, you know, they have like, and the question is like, okay, so these things are happening. How do you get them to stop happening? What's the like end condition? And the answer is that there isn't really like a single end condition. Like every person has like that. People like to think there's like a movement. There's like, you know, there is a movement of people who are, you know, the BLMs, the Antifas, you know, all of these organizations have, you know, like it's a big group of people all under the same common agreed goals. But it's actually like a bunch of people that like sometimes conveniently will be like, oh yeah, that we are one, and then sometimes it's like actually we are a very disparate group of lots of individuals with our own goals, morals, and objectives. And I find that fascinating, this idea, because when you bind people together by any one descriptor, you're always kind of wiping out the rest of their descriptors. You can try and claim that you're not, but you're always making that, like, for the purpose of a conversation, the most important thing about them. Like, this is how, like, groups work in humanity. And it's interesting because hey, Cody, can't finish my story in the message, but after my breakdown, one of my friends confessed they loved me during said breakdown, which really helped me. I've never had that moment, like, where I was sad and then someone said they loved me. And, like, at the time, a part of me would have been like, yeah, you know what really helped? Like, because I went through some depressing times as a teenager, where I'm sure, like, oh, this can't be right. Yeah, this is not right. I went through some depressing times where, like, the thing I would have loved more than anything else is, like, yeah, someone just telling me just a little bit that they, you know, like, the whole, like, oh, yeah, someone loves me and it's all okay. But I think, like, that probably, like, looking back, it's like, oh, yeah, that's like, good that didn't happen. Like, the codependence is, I've seen a lot of people in my universe become, like, entirely codependent. Like, to the stage where, like, not even like codependent on one person, but like I have seen some people who were sad, and then their cure to that sadness was a new relationship. But like a new relationship is only sparky, you know, only the amount of like whatever the feeling is, serotonin or the other one. I don't know which one it is, honestly. But the amount of good it produces for your brain directly. You know, like it gets less excited happy and more stable happy over time. And yeah, becoming codependent like so early on, like as early as like 14, needing someone to love you, to love yourself. That's like that messed me up. You know, people always say dumb stuff like, oh yeah, you gotta learn to love yourself. And it's like, again, what does that mean? Not only is loving yourself not entirely always a good thing, but also, what does it even mean to love yourself? Like, I mean, I'm a pretty hateable person. But then you realize, like, oh yeah, but the point is that, what's your target audience, says Bauk. I wouldn't say there is one. I target people not based on their age, gender, location, ethnicity, or anything like that. But rather, like, probably into Minecraft, and if they're watching these live streams, probably into some form of I don't know, like, people call it philosophy, but I don't know if it's that, just like talking about the world and stuff. like deep conversation. Like I think so often we see movements that try to boil you down to just your extrinsic details, right? Like, oh yeah, you are insert thing, you are good. You are insert thing, you are bad. It's kind of like the you know, like you see this in both strings where people are like, oh yeah, I think that there has been a lot of you know, inequality over time towards insert, you know, group here, and therefore my plan is to use a bunch of inequality in the other way towards insert group here, not realizing that the bad thing is not the fact that a thing happened at a point in history, but the idea of treating people unequally based on whatever extrinsic characteristics. Like ideally, the most ideal form of the world is where everyone treats each other like human beings. The same thing is true of like every big debate that's like, how should we treat people? And the answer is always like human beings, like individuals. The most important group of people is always the group of one. The treating. I hate when people act like you are just a group of just a member of a whatever thing it is, you know, because it's always gonna end up in the same ballpark of like, oh yeah, but that means you have to do things like that group. What hurts me is you having deep conversations, people end up talking behind your back. Yeah, that's a hard one. Also, what is your opinion on the Greta Thunberg, and what's your solution to the climate change issue? I think like, if we ignore the possibility that it's like her parents' opinions, because like, let's be real, until a certain age, like, not your opinions come from your parents, but like, you know, how your opinions are large, you know, like, at a certain age, it's like harder to be sure, you know, if this is like, because, you know, so much of your worldview comes in from your parents. But like, if we ignore that angle, because like, I think that's easier. Like, I try not to dismiss people based on that. I think she's got super good goals. Like, being a 16-year-old that wants to fix the climate, sure, that's like, the fact that we have like a universal face to look to and be like, this is good, yes. I think that's one. Like, I think people should be supportive of the idea of people who are passionate about issues sharing their things on those issues, as long as they are, again, I think as long as they're sharing that like individual opinion. I think the scary thing is like, if we ever start to like using people because they fit like, oh god, I enjoy talking about politics with people I'm close to, but if I don't know them, sometimes I get overwhelmed. Yeah, the flaw people have with the internet is that people talk super deep political issues, like, hey, let's talk about whether abortion is good or bad. Should we be funding, you know, I don't know, like public transport? How should XYZ thing be? When you talk about these with strangers, as you often are when you're, you know, tweeting with a hashtag or something, when you talk about these issues with strangers, you're talking about them with people, like, they're issues that you're only going to change the mind of people who know you and who you can, like, use your personal thing with. Like, I think that's definitely true. Also, love sucks. Thank you. And passionate about Cape Update. So you gave up on the acid? I totally did. I respect people who want to solve big problems. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say in much more complex words. I respect anyone who looks at a big problem and goes, what is the solution? Because as humanity, we are not coming to a solution. Like, and, you know, honestly, with climate change, that has been the majority thing. Countries, like, we set a bunch of goals in the early 2000s, and then, like, everyone forgot about it again. And that's not good, huh? That's not good. Stream labs won't work, but here's the Toycat tax, says Dorian Johnson. Hey, thank you, Dorian. But yeah, so like, the people I respect the most in this world, I would say, anyone who sees a human problem Or even, like, let's just call it a world problem. But, like, mostly a human problem, because I care about humans more than I care about the world. Anyone who sees a human problem, and who doesn't just go, that's bad, but is like, so how do we fix this? Those are the people I respect more than anyone else in the world. And if you are a 16-year-old girl from Sweden, your best asset might actually be in being a, you know, being a front, being a way to get other people interested. When people see her, they are inspired. When she shows up to a march, they will march too. That's something to be inspired by. My mountain base of resident villagers causes constant raids, but they expire because I can't find them. Any tips besides filling in the caves? So just what I would say is find all your caves. I'd load a copy of the world, like go through creative, just find the caves, and then know where they all are. Obviously you shouldn't use creative, but I'm just saying, like, finding caves in survival is a pain. Although you could just dig a bunch of holes down if you like, because I would prefer to stick to the survival. But I'd say, like, do it that way. Thanks for lighting up my day, says Infinite Spider. Hey, thank you, Mr. Infinite Spider. I'm glad this is lighting up your day, even if it's some amount. Any amount is a good amount. That's my opinion. Yeah, your quarantine hair suits you. Everyone says that this is like my quarantine hair, and I'm really embarrassed because it's like, my hair would be like this if it wasn't quarantine time. I love now that it's like, oh yeah, I've got a reason. I'm not just lazy. And I do like that about the world. You know, but yeah, a thing we should appreciate more is people who want to fix things. Anyone can look at something and say it's broken. Because the world is never perfect. Perfection is not a thing that exists anywhere outside of our brains. But the real challenge is in saying, why is it broken and how do I fix it? And as an individual, like, it feels like you have no power to fix things. A lot of people will try and convince you don't have power. Like, the only way you have power is if you sign up for my movement. You know, my movement where we do XYZ thing. Give you money, by the way. Hashtag. But, like, you know, like, imagine if I said, oh yeah, make sure to tip the live stream. That's the only value you have as a human being, you piece of garbage. I mean, I'm sure there's someone out there who'd like that. But, like, it's to boil down your value so simply is not something I like in the world at all. Is it good if I write a set of reforms to fix problems, even though I know the government now wouldn't allow it, says Merchant Nest? See, but that's not fixing the problem, is it? That's like, oh, there are some problems that can only be fixed with government. But, like, government is the slowest way to fix any particular problem. Like, if you have a problem that, like, if you have a problem with, you know, okay, Mr. Toy Cat Lol says Commander Y. Hey, thank you, Mr. Commander Y. Let's say, okay, you know, women, they do menstruate, right? Am I mistaken? I don't think I am. But, if you are from a poorer background, dealing with that is hard. That is a opinion the world has agreed on. If you think that, like, oh yeah, some women don't have access to the sanitary devices that they need for their situation, there's two ways. There's the really, really slow way of fixing that problem, which is, you know, get a giant government body of some form on board with the idea that they should fix that, right? Or, you know, the way that you could make change faster, because, you know, that's a thing. I do be doing that right now. You know, thank you for the information. You know, let's write that one down, chat. We had like 5 people in chat say the same, actually. Okay, so you know, that's nice. Statistically, a quarter of women are doing that at any point in time, right? Maybe a fifth. Yeah, but it's probably like a sixth by the time you include, like, young and old women and people who don't do it at all. Anyway, so the slowest way you can fix that problem is by being like, what I'll do is I'll campaign and I'll get the government to, like, it's a working solution. But the fast solution, the one that, like, abates the most pain, is if you're like, okay, well, why can they not afford them? Oh, because it's what, like £2 for a box? That seems expensive. I am going to work on my, I'm gonna, now I've had some people know. How does that feel? I literally can't work it out. Anyway, but like, the faster solution is like, okay, why are they so expensive? How can you reduce those costs? I will start a company where either you manufacture them and you sell them for super cheap, maybe to schools or something, or maybe it's like a charity where you could give them to the schools in question. You're like making a long-term impact by making the thing more accessible. That's like making the change, right? The only reason that for climate change it's not so achievable is because that's literally even if you could petition one government to change their policy, you need the world to agree for climate change, right? That's the biggest challenge. That's why it's a political dynamite, or whatever words you want to use. But yeah, it's a thing. It cost me $8 for a box of tampons, says Emily Fellows. See, that seems expensive. I'll sell them to you for $1. And now I've hopefully, like you can help out a group of people that you think should be helped out. Like maybe you think it's like a human right, and you've just made that human right half as expensive. It's a much faster, more effective solution. Especially because like all government requires on consistent consent, right? Like people could come out to a solution like a certain amount of time from now being like, actually, let's walk that one back. But your private idea, a thing you do as a thing, if you ensure that business is stable, you can do that forever. That's making the world a better place in a small way. But like if you take any issue and do that to it, like that's respectable. Like I think we should look at people who solve problems as I think we should like encourage people to do that. Like, right now, what's the biggest problem in your life? How do you fix it? Your biggest problem probably actually isn't a human issue that you could fix for all human beings. It's probably an issue you can fix in yourself. Give that a whirl, why don't you? Wait, is this all off by one block? What is happening here? Oh, it's just that one. Thank God.
Also, minute, here's some taxes.
Hey, thank you, J Loudermilk, for the $10.69. Hey. But yeah, so we got a lot of prices in chat that seem very high. I feel like I could manufacture pieces of cotton for much cheaper than that. I'm just saying. Seems like I could do that. But yeah, so my first thing is like, if there is a change you would like in the world, first step is make sure that you are in a place to enact change. The biggest investment you can make in your life, again, contrary to what people will tell you because they would like to use you to advance their goals, the biggest change you can make in your life is to make yourself a functioning human being that contributes positively to the world, whatever way that needs to be. Or even, step down from that. Just like, simplest step you can make in your life is just like, be a functioning human who brings some joy to someone somewhere. Or brings joy to yourself. Is not constantly in a state of questioning your own being, and like work on you. Fix things up. And then second thing is like, okay, what can I do with my productive hours in my life that would make the world a better place for people to live in, And then once you work out those things, you can go, hey, thank you, Warlock Sniper Minecraft, for becoming a channel member. Wait, not even just a channel member, a rich cat. Hey, welcome to the Rich Cat Club. My hero. Toy Cat's tampons, let's get it set up. Wait, they could be branded, like, they could look like a little cat, and it, like, how, like, you get cats that, like, pop out from things, like the little cat thing? It could be, like, a cat tampon. That, actually, that seems like bad marketing. Let's roll it anyway. If you run a tampon brand and you'd like to hit the Minecraft market, hit me up. This is awful. I wish I'd used any other example in the world. Do. Cats that pop out, Lamar. But yeah, so if we work, we have to each doing our small part. We can solve big problems. Right. That's another thing of like, okay, if you can't solve an entire problem by yourself, and most people can't. Like, again, if I want to start a tampon company, which for some reason I've just used as my example, I don't know the steps on that. Work with someone who can. And in the meantime, so that I'm not relying my entire worthiness on whether or not I can start a company in a field I'm not very familiar with. The other thing is like, try to make the smaller changes that you can fairly easily make to make the world a better place. Like, your individual actions, like, even if you never start a whole movement, even if you never become Elon Musk and bring us to Mars, even if you never, oh jeez, even if you never do any of these things, you can still bring immense value, or the opposite, through your life. Coming soon, RBX gets Minecraft Oslock. I missed that, but it's diving into the tampon joke some more. Also, thank you very much to Dr. Cookie said thoughts on the PS5. It looks ugly, and has when I saw GTA 5 as like an announced game for the PlayStation, I was like, no, let's not do cross-generation games. Like, I generally think this is my worry, that maybe single-player video games just haven't progressed since like 2009. Because how else are we releasing GTA 5 on a brand new platform and arguing that it's a good thing? Like, I'm like genuinely worried for the state of like gaming, that is something that not only has, like, if there is no GTA 6, because it's cheaper to make the current one and people are more excited with that. It's like, that's sad. The Elder Scrolls 6 as well. You know we're going to get Skyrim for the PlayStation 5, and it's like, no, make a brand new Elder Scrolls game. That's what people really want in the world. But yeah, I don't know. That's my minorest of concerns. I don't really seen Minecraft for PlayStation 5 or for Xbox Series X yet. I don't know why that is. I wonder if there's a fun... Okay, we placed all these torches wrong, it seems. Yep, they're all one block off. It's okay to be one block off, though. Tampons are actually a big problem because they're heavily taxed. That's actually wrong. See, this is what I mean, right? The easiest way to reduce the price of, again, we're using a box of tampons. It could be any product that you think should be more widespread in the world that would improve people's lives. That could be a new Hoover, vacuum. That could be a new, piece of technology in someone's hands. It could be something as simple as like, oh yeah, you think that some meditational Minecraft videos would help people out. Whatever thing you want to get in people's hands. The thing about the tax, right? Because this is a UK thing at least. The people always say there's something called a tampon tax, right? And everyone's like, man, that sounds bad. Who is in favor of taxing tampons higher than we why is there a specific tax for that? And the answer is there isn't. It's a tool of campaigning. Like, it's because most people don't dive into every issue because we can't be informed about everything. They instead get a much simpler, lower resolution view of the issue. And sometimes people will just learn about the name. They'll just be like, oh man, a tampon tax, that sure does suck. But in the UK, at least, all that means is we charge VAT, the tax on every single thing besides, I think there's a few goods, like electricity is maybe excluded, or it's at a lower rate. There's a few, like, essentials. Food isn't in there. In other countries, it's like the sales tax, etc. Blah, 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 blah. It's a thing. So, people, like, the actual issue is that, oh yeah, there is the standard tax on top of that, and that standard tax is, it's 20% in the UK, but it's like 10% in other countries, 5% in other countries, etc., etc. But, the reason, and then, like, the reason is, like, so why are we charging that at all? Why can't we charge 0% because it's a necessity? It's like, well, actually, it's to do with, like, in the UK, it's like EU rules about what can and cannot have VAT attached. You had to have made your list in 1970, and it's really hard to, like, change and alter it. It's like, oh, that's the actual reason. But, like, it's an example, in my opinion, of, like, the biggest problem with the assumption being that there is a problem elsewhere. Also, made coffee, then realized I'm out of sugar. Could you spare a pinch? You know what? I'll give you some sugar. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I don't know why I'm making jokes like that. But you know what? Let's roll with it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Who knows what I mean by that? I don't even know what I mean by that. I think this is Australia. They're being taxed as a luxury rate. Yeah, the idea is because like it's as an essential, not a luxury, right? I don't know in Australia like if you have an actual luxury tax that is a thing, but again, people say it's taxed as a luxury. It's the problem with like big politics issues is because again we have representative democracy. Most countries do not have a direct people vote on things where you are informed about every single individual issue. Instead, you elect someone who does it on your behalf. But because, you know, like as a way to, like, the simplest thing you can do is convince someone something is broken. Again, the world is not perfect. We all know this. And if someone tells you this, you're like, yeah, it makes sense. Of course, X thing sucks. It's easier to believe that something sucks than to believe that something is great. Like, if I told you about the wonder that is plumbing, how water gets to your house, you'd be like, okay, that's cool, but it's just you know, like, it's things that are wonderful, and it's a marvel they work in the slightest. Like, seriously, the electrical grids are perfectly balanced at all times. If they go up or down by 0.5% or something, you know, things are wrecked. So they're like, you know, there are thousands of people making sure you get the electricity to make this video happen, etc. Those things aren't interesting, but something being broken is like... And then, like, okay, so you convince people things are broken, but complex arguments about why things are broken, like, you know, I don't know, like, there is a systemic issue regarding why, I don't know, what's a fun one? Like how companies dodge tax, right? International corporations. People think of it as they just are not paying, you know, the tax. It's like, oh yeah, so they domicile in another country, they set up, you know, a secondary company there. They funnel their profits through there by charging themselves a franchising fee because they you know, they put their name in America, but then they put their name in the Netherlands or something, and therefore their American company has to pay their Dutch company a bunch of money every time the name is used, and that money always works out to be roughly the profits of the company, and that way they can put their profits in a jurisdiction where taxes are lower. Like, that is complex. All of you listening right now, you just had a seizure, a heart attack, or actually probably not even those things. You probably just got bored, is what I'm trying to say. Complex things are hard to understand, and when we combine these two facts together, we get the most broken political landscape. The most worrying, like, thing, especially when you combine that with, like, internet, like, you know, 140 character tweets or headlines, you know, because, like, Twitter, you know, like, the idea of just a headline, learning about just the top information, that's what most people learn, and it means that we end up with this world where everything is simplified down to a thing is broken, and it's bad for a simple reason. Why is it broken? Bad stuff, you know, like, why is, you know, why are people, you know, let's take a simple one first of all, and just be like, oh yeah, why are, you know, why are tampons $9 a box? There's a luxury tax on them, and it's like, oh my god, and then you're like, oh, it's a 10% tax, so therefore $8.10 of that $9 price is the price of the manufacturer. So then it's like, so why are they charging that much? They can't be that much to manufacture, right? And then you're like, oh, turns out for some reason there's a bunch of tampon R&D going down. Or maybe there's not. Maybe it's all profit behavior. And then it's like, so why is there no competing company? And it's like, well, it turns out that it's actually, you know, a trademark design. And it's like, huh, how did they trademark it? Well, it turns out the trademark was actually illegal. It's like, well, that's the thing we should fight. Or, you know, I don't actually know what the issue is in this case because I haven't dove into that specific issue. But the idea of, like, every issue, if you dive into it, there's, like, you get a higher and higher detailed picture of something. You know, it's like, right now, looking at this field of torches, you can see there's a lot of torches. The closer we get to every individual torch, the more visible this torch is, the less visible the other torches are in the background. Also, in lieu of sending a proper harassment tax day, I'll send you a tampon tax for you. You broke my brain, Juliana Bryant. But, every issue gets boiled down to it's like the simplest resolution it can be. Just one single bit of information. It is bad, and it is bad because of a single word issue. Why are, you know, like, I don't know.
My grandfather says I'm too reliant on technology. I called him a hypocrite and unplugged his life support.
I have heard that joke before, actually. I have heard that joke before. But like, the, you know, like I don't know. Let's take an issue of like, why are, you know, why are there a huge number of, I think something broke there. Could be wrong. Open to interpretation. It's funny, someone just dropped a $500 tip, and the moment it happened, or like a few seconds after the moment it like hit the stream, everything just broke. And that is fascinating to me. Thank you so much, Mr. Worklock Sniper Cat. I find that to be big. That's largest tip we've had in as long as I can remember. I think that's the max YouTube literally lets you give. So yeah, $500 tip. You know, we're doing pretty well today, huh? We're doing pretty well today, huh? So hello. Oh yeah, it's the rich cat from before. Oh my god, this is hopefully a generous person. Maybe, you know, I like to believe that that's what that is. Congratulations on becoming both a rich cat and being the largest tipper of 2020. I've never touched that much money. I very rarely, like, I feel like no matter how much money you ever end up with, like, I feel like the richest man in the world, Jeff Bezos, probably has never touched more than a few thousand in cash. Like, there's a point where, you know, we could talk about fun things like that all day. But, I was, like, midway through a rant as well. Maybe it's one that's best we don't do. Or maybe we should just dive back into it. But, like, every issue has dived down into, like, why is it wrong? And then single word answers. People don't want the how do we fix this? How do we make this better? They want the one word answer. Like, oh yeah, what is wrong with, you know, what's, you know, like, okay, let's take the most current issue in the world. You know, COVID-19. It's a thing I've heard at least. It's affecting people, but all around the world, at least in the UK. It's so I think it's also America, but again we'll talk about the UK. It's affecting disproportionately black and ethnic minority. BAME is what we call it in the UK. People, like, when they look at those facts. Also, you can become a member by hitting the $sign or link in the description. But people look at that and be like, oh yeah, so it's affecting those people more. Why is it affecting them more? Well, and then you get a one-word answer that doesn't actually help anyone. Like, oh yeah, it's because colonialism. And it's like, okay. Or, like, if you want to be more simple, it's like, oh, it's racism. We're all so racist, and that's why all, you know, the black and ethnic minority people are dying from COVID-19. And it's like, you know, ignore, you know, like, okay, I don't get to have an opinion on racism because I'm white. That's what people can say that. So we'll ignore that. We'll say that it's entirely correct. But, like, a one-word answer, not only does it not make sense, but it's not helpful to anyone. Like, you know, like, how do you fix that then? It's therefore unfixable? Like, the idea of, like, once you simplify an issue and once you know, you get to feel like you're right if you can simplify something down right to that. But that doesn't help anyone. That doesn't improve the world. It just makes you feel more right. So many issues that people simplify down to a one-word slogan or to a demand. It's like, but that doesn't help the people that you're trying to get it to help. You know, there are intelligent solutions to every big problem in the world. And some of those intelligent solutions are hard. Some of those intelligent solutions aren't the things that people want to hear. But that's the thing about solutions. They're, you know, like, if they were so easy, we probably would have done them before. Very few people actively want people to suffer. And I find it, like, so ridiculous that we see this all over the world every day about any form of issue or any form of anywhere thing. It's like, instead of thinking about the solution to any issue, it's a one-word solution. But we don't need one-word solutions. We need working, functional. Like, if you have a one-word problem, then you have a one-word issue that can't be fixed. Also, I was shocked when I found out my toaster wasn't waterproof. I just heard him farts as all the clips. I have farted a few times on stream, and I've always looked at chat afterwards to see if anyone noticed. But I will assure you that I have not done it today. You know, Next time I do it, I'll give everyone like a heads up, like, hey, I'm gonna do a thing. It's gonna be crazy. That'll be great. But yeah, thank you so much. I still find it crazy that we got a literal $500 tip bit today. Oh, it doesn't even show on my list. It only shows in chat. I'm very confused. Toycat, the one logical way to get government to enact my reforms is to declare independence. Exactly. You know, what's the problem? What every single problem in your life, every single one of them, could be solved with independence. What's the problem? One word, government. What's the solution? One word, independence. Yeah. That's how you fix things. You know, like, today I went to the store and it was closed because on Sundays in the UK, stuff closes really early. If it's a store above a certain size, it has to close. And the people, like, who are like, and then, like, this annoys people every Sunday. So it's like, so why do we do this again? And the simple answer is like, it's a religion thing, because something, we're a religious state. Because there is no separation of church and state in the UK, technically speaking, I learned recently. And you'll be like, it's a darn church thing. But the actual answer is that, like, it's this weird compromise between unions and, you know, like, between Christians and unions. And it's a way for small businesses to get ahead because they can open on Sunday. It's like, well, you know, we could probably more effectively achieve all of those goals. Like, if you know what something fixes, you can know a better way to fix that thing. Like, it's like looking at, like, an electrical socket and being like, this thing's kind of ugly. I think we should just get rid of it. It's like, well, I mean, do you intend to use it for something? Yeah, but it's ugly. It's like you need to know why something's there if you want to replace a thing. If you assume that something is just bad and has always been bad, then, you know, if so, like, then you should, like, it's an easy way to lose faith in humanity too. Like, I think that's why so many people think humans are bad, right? Because, like, man, I went on the internet and people told me 500 ways that we are the worst species in existence. So, Kat, what are you gonna do with all that money system of Russia? It doesn't actually hit. So, like, this is why I usually recommend tipping via Streamlabs. Hey, thank you, Dorian Johnson. You found it. Also, it's like that in the US as well. Most things close early or close entirely on Sundays. Can you give me some examples? I didn't notice it when I was in America, but maybe I'm, like, I spent a few weeks in Northern California recently, and I didn't notice it. So maybe I'm crazy. But yeah. I appreciate you joining the club. Good job on finding it. I think it's like, we've almost got this, like, shared religion. Again, it's not a religion, but it's like, oops, these are wrong. It's like a new form of religion where, like, oh yeah, we find things that we like and we shame people who don't like them too. We make a set of rules for ourselves and we shame the non-believers. And it sounds dumb, but every day it gets closer and closer to being reality rather than fiction. Also, thank you, Asda Meme Deal. Are you going to get a Series X or a PlayStation 5? It's a good question, Mr. Asda Meme Deal. I think I'm going to get a Series X. I might also get a PlayStation 5. But I think the next generation might be my big shift to Windows 10. Because I don't think Minecraft's going to come out with a thing for, like, a while. Like, when it does, I'd love to check it out. And given that the current gen, like, Minecraft Bedrock was not designed to work on consoles. They made it work on consoles, but it wasn't designed to work there. And I worry that issue is going to become more pronounced next generation. I hope that it's not. I hope that it runs better on a Series X than it runs on anything else. But I worry that that is not the case in the slightest. Like, because Minecraft has goals that are, like, different to the console manufacturing goals. You know, like, Microsoft is both a Minecraft making company as well as another company. They tend to do things a bit different. I don't know. What did the homeless child get for Christmas? Nothing. He's still homeless. That's nice. That's a good laugh barrel for the family right there. Surprised Tugget hasn't noticed the dark jokes yet. You know what? I I'm trying to balance reading chat more, in the sense that I'm trying to do it less, if you believe it. No, there's a direct, like, one-to-one relation between my reading of chat and my loss of sanity sometimes. It's a thing I'm trying to, like, correct for, because I think there are some streams where, like, I'm genuinely just so annoyed at chat. I'm like, why am I in this? Why is this me? And generally speaking, it's good if I don't hate my existence. Maybe I'm wrong on that, though. Hey, Skylar Long, welcome to the Rich Cat Club. I don't know why today is my lucky day, but welcome to the club, my friend. I hope you have a good time inside of it. Or maybe you won't, I don't know. Third Rich Cat of the stream. You sure that's the third? That's crazy if so. You know, why is today such a lucky day for me? Glad we decided to stream, clearly. I mean, partly because I'm talking to all of you. But, you know, mostly it's for that. I make cat in San Francisco, it's less prevalent, but in most of the states, businesses like restaurants, grocery stores and other stores will close early. Walgreens and Applebee's, etc. Is that so true now? That is interesting. That is very interesting. I bet it's like the same religious exemption. There's a lot of things I find very crazy about America. Like, there are, like, permits for, like, having it's called a liquor license, like, the permits to alcohol. And some certain places only have a certain number. And if you want to get one after they've all been gone out, you have to wait for a place to go out of business so you can sell alcohol. I don't know which states they're in, but, like, I find it very crazy. Also, what do we got here? So, Kat, you can make videos like this into podcasts. I'd love to listen to this stuff. So, if you want to listen to it in podcast form, I guess what I'll just say is, like, you can watch them. Like, there is a playlist on my channel called Unlisted Live Streams. And you can, if you'd like to. People, like, it's confusing, but I've just kind of accepted it as a thing now. You can find you can find any one of these. You can watch all the videos, and if you want, you can watch them without video. You can watch just sound turned on. It's entirely one of your options. I guess we want to place a couple of blocks up here. Yeah, that's a bit ugly. Okay, then we'll remove a block there. And then, okay, torch here. This is the most effort for a single torch, but I think it's worth it. And then from 397, we need to go to 403. Okay, this is gonna hurt. Oh, okay, that's fine. There we go, 403. You know, placing torches all over the edge of the world is, like, definitely the hardest bit. I don't even know how we're gonna do this. I have to start letting some of these jokes through. Yeah, there's been a few jokes where I was like, I definitely can't say that one. My German girlfriend likes that. I know a better version of that joke, Commander Y. Definitely shouldn't mention it on a live stream. But so, to quote someone here, this is a quote that I am doing. This is not a joke I am telling of my own volition. Wow, someone said this to me and I disapproved of this joke that I'm about to tell. There we go. That's good enough. So I disapprove of this joke that I heard, but I'm reading it out so you all know which jokes to avoid in the future. My German girlfriend has this really weird thing where she keeps shouting her age during sex. There we go. There you go. That's the better version of your joke, Mr. Friends. But yeah, if you wanna listen to it as a podcast, get YouTube Premium. Like, honestly, this is like my plug for myself. Like, if you have YouTube Premium, your views are worth like double as much. Fun fact. So do that. Okay. Yeah, that joke's awful. I can't believe. Okay, there was a crash. Things are. This is like the most cursed stream I've had in a while. Like, I've had so many issues today. The world is telling me that we've got to fix this. That we've got to stop this. And that is maybe something we should listen to. So yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful evening. We'll kind of wrap things up. I don't know how we wrap things up. Usually I just end. I think the Irish exit, that just leave no prisoners, is the better solution. But just for fun, I'm gonna kill this creeper that's been up here forever now. Let's just do that. Goodbye, Mr. Creeper. And then also we're gonna light up the top of this. Yeah, let's just light it up. Nice and simple stuff. 4 torches on the... Actually, you know what? It makes sense, given that this is the torch desert, that we should have more torches along the top of this. There we go. Now it's covered in torches. And now there's definitely no mobs spawning up here. But, yeah, is your computer overheating? No, it's, I've had this issue of every PC I've ever owned and tried to stream from. Things just break. I had a Mac, so, like, anyone who's like, oh, yeah, well, the problem is it's a Windows PC. I had a Mac, same thing. I have no real understanding of why. I wish I did. If I did, I would not be having this as an issue. But, yeah, things be broken, huh? And that just be how they be. But yeah, no, for real. Things break, and that includes this live stream. I wish it didn't include this live stream. But yet it do. Yet it do. So let's place a bunch of torches in here, including this 10, and then we'll place like 64 out there. Let's break this, and let's go on a torch placing adventure. Actually, let's do a nice little full loop, and let's finish where we started. Toycat didn't approve the joke. I said very clearly I didn't approve the joke. Anyone who thinks I did, I was just like, man. Is everything okay? I don't know if everything's okay. Is there a reason you stream on YouTube and not another streaming service, like Twitch or Mixer? The biggest reason is just I dislike Twitch, and Mixer's not really a viable make money platform right now. RJ, this is my first Toycat Tax. I hope to more in the future, but I wanted to say hello and hope you're having a great day. You know, I hope you're having a great day, RJ. Oh, that rhymes. That's nice. But yeah, let's end it with the dark. So like, I think dark humor is great. I actually do think it's like people like to be like, oh, I can't believe you joke about that. You monster. You can't make jokes about insert thing here. But like, using jokes to express the dark side of humans, I think it's an important thing to do. But I just want to like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are, once you keep up a joke for too long, and in this case the joke is like jokes that are right on the edge of like horrifically offensive. Once you keep up a joke too long, only fewer and fewer people understand it, and then you get, you know, that's one of the problems with language is the kind of codes we develop within it, where things stop meaning the things that they mean. I've discussed this before, but like, when people yell a slogan out, they're not saying the words in the slogan, they're saying just the slogan. When you say Toycat, you're not saying there is a Toycat, you're saying my name. When you say, there's so many memes that when you mention them, you're not saying the components, you're saying the total. And everyone kind of understands it. But when you start building in jokes that are too, well, not even too complex, but are like very confusing from the outside in, you start to get a problem where like someone's going to join the stream and be like, oh, hey guys, wanted to see a Toycat stream forever. And then they're going to see like, you know, what's the difference between, you know, like Pokemon cards and orphans, you know? And it's like, you know, it's a good idea to not, in my opinion. That's my high quality suggestion. It's a good idea to not. So if this is 93,373, this is 90. Yep, that's correct. So we can now finish where we started and place the things up here. Thank you, Gerald K. You decided to be a talking floating head today. Also, Toycat Tax. No, thank you, RJ, and thank you, Gerald K. Oh, there's 2 Ks. Thank you for the tips. I appreciate the Toycat Tax thing. I think it's cool that people are willing to pay to support these things existing. I sometimes like have extreme feelings of like, why do I do anything? And it's always nice that there are people that are like, hey, I would miss you if you weren't here. I think that's like what people should really say, as like instead of saying like, you're the best, like I'm not the best. Hate to break it to you, but I know many people who are better than me. And you know, even if I didn't know them, I know that statistically speaking, in terms of humans, I'm not the best. I'm not even the best person you know, probably. You're just being polite. Also, no toy cat tax. This is tax evasion, and it's the same. I'll never get to see the money again, but I'll know, at least know it fed the cat. You will, in fact, know that, Mr. Anders Pack. Good to see you, by the way. Hope you're having a good day. Thank you. I hope all is well in the land of Sweden. I always hear that things aren't, but I know it's, like, exaggerated, because we need, like, a country to, like, scapegoat, and everyone's like, it's gotta be Sweden. Don't you hear? They're only advising people to stay indoors. They're not even forcing them. the rubes, the idiots. I totally miss you if you go, Toy Cat. You become my favorite YouTuber. Yeah, I think that simple message, you know, like, just, I'd miss you if you weren't here. That's probably the simplest, like, obviously it sounds a bit like a guilt trip if you say it's someone that you know is suicidal, but it's just like, oh yeah, I enjoy your company. I'd rather you be there than not. Make your own decision. Like, yeah, I think that's like, that'd be the most encouraging thing if someone said to me, like, hey, you know, I'm not saying this to be polite, you know, I like you existing more than I like you not existing. Because there are so many people who, like, get on the idea of, like, I'm gonna help someone out because it's my righteous duty. It's like, well, that's, you know, that's fine, but if someone thinks you're helping them for the sake of you, they're not gonna be as inclined to take it. Even though everyone does ultimately things for the sake of them, it's like, you know, it's not a thing that helps everyone. I just joined a nice stream, but I really don't know I'm awake at 20 to midnight. Hey, happy 20, oh, it's 20 past, it's 40 past midnight in the UK. It's 20 to 1. Welcome to the live stream. Hope all is going well. But yeah, I think, so, you know, sometimes it's really easy to lose sight of the why on something. Like, you're constantly gonna second guess yourself and be like, there's no real point. And you know, there's a good chance you're right and that there is no point in the things that you're doing. And that's the thing that really hurts. Because most things that humans do are not worth doing. I mean, your basic necessity, like, that's why I think, like, having a basic routine that involves, like, brush your teeth, take a shower, wake up on time. If you can, like, nail those things down, you're like, well, I'm, you know, like, I'm following goals I set as a human. I'm being functional. It's like a good starting point. Like, if I miss, that's why, like, so many, like, writing things I've heard is like, you know, do just one thing that you want to do in a day, and that way, even if you know, waste the rest of the day, you did one positive thing. I kind of like that as like a stepping stone in the right direction. Like, yeah, make things a bit better. Everything needs to start with the simplest. You know, like, the stories we tell each other. I don't know why I've been obsessed with stories recently, because we're seeing a lot of stories circulate right now. To put things simply, like, we're in a world full of stories that we don't think are stories. You know, social media, like, there's so many, like, viral tweets and Reddit things I've seen that are, like, so painfully obviously fake. And everyone plays along as like, oh, but it could be real. We don't know it's fake, and therefore it's, you know, therefore it's not necessarily fake. Is this line of thought gonna launch me back into an existential crisis? I hope this is a more positive line of thought, maybe. I could be wrong, though. Also, look at the way this grass is different here. What a weird, wacky thing. I guess because it's, like, 2 biomes or something, but, like, very strange. Stories are what make us human. Yeah, one of the fascinating things about stories is, we've only been able to tell, like, we know that stories have existed for about 30 to 50,000 years. The first piece of, like, the first thing that we've seen humans make that was not, like, the first, like, non-human, you know, non-existent thing that we drew. It's like, I think it's like a lion with a human head, or it's a human with a lion head. I think which way around it is. I think it might be found in Australia, actually. But, never thought a cat would be my life coach, says Anders Pack. You know, I think it's interesting that, like, more and more people need life coaches. But, I mean, the things that you don't think are the more are the important things. The things that you already think about, you don't need someone to tell you about. The things that you don't think about, those are the things you need. So yeah, one of the most fascinating things is that we've told stories for about 30 to 50,000 years. It's a really, really, really bad brain evolution to do on paper. If you were designing a species, you would never think that a core thing about it is to share stories about things that don't exist. 2 streams in only a few days. I must be a lucky. Time to buy a lottery ticket, says Gracie's a dino. That's nice that you enjoy them. Wait, one sec. I need to do this. Okay, here you go, chat. Do you like this? How do you feel about this right here? How do you feel about it? Do you like this? Do you feel this adds to your day? I hope this adds to your day. Okay. The idea of telling stories is like the worst evolutionary design you could imagine, because our brains had to develop this entire structure, the ability to both use design and to interpret language that can not only point to things, but to concepts. Being able to say that there is a big mammoth over there and it will kill you, stay away from the big mammoth. That is useful information for species to impart on each other. We know that, like, monkeys can communicate, there is a tiger coming, run, or be careful, there is a tiger coming. Also, thank you, here's my tiger tax. Thank you, Sadie's Vax Squares. And that's useful evolutionary speaking because it allows you to do a thing. Holy moly, you donated $500. Well, your boy Warlock Sniper Cat came in today and is now the richest cat I've ever seen. Yeah, thank you, James Awareness. The idea of like being able to tell stories, having language that allows you to refer to things that don't exist as well as things that do, is like a terrible evolutionary disadvantage, because it's a waste of like space. There's no speaking about things that don't exist is bad because you should think about things that do. And that was actually my kind of like basic logic as a human. Like, it seems dumb that we spend so much time in stories when we could learn about the world. And on an objective level, that's true. But stories are intriguing to me. I love nonfiction. I've read the Harry Potter books. Have you not as well? And there's a billion examples of this. And the reason that stories are so interesting is because they all basically follow the same tale. Like, we're talking about things that don't exist. Sometimes we pretend they're based on real events. Like, did you hear? Steve tried to hunt a mammoth by himself and he died. This is why we need to go as a group to do a thing. Steve was, Steve was a great man, but he didn't realize the power of groups, and therefore, despite being a great, basic human, Steve died. A great injustice was performed. There's a great, a bad thing has happened, to Steve. A great injustice, unfairness has happened in the world because he did not. But like the only crux we can take from Steve dying to the mammoth is that now when we fight the mammoth, we do it as a group. So like in that same way, when you look at a story like Harry Potter, it is the same thing on a much more complex level. Harry Potter is a child who is like designed to, he's a wizard. He's like a super special person, but his parents, or who he thinks is his parents, are just mean to him. Even though he's smarter and, more intelligent and, more lovable than his cousin or his brother. I think it's his cousin, Dudley, right? He's more intelligent than him. He still gets this, he still gets treated worse, and he's like, he dreams of there being something else. And everyone secretly dreams that their life isn't what it seems to be. Everyone dreams that there's like a secret thing in there, and it's a great injustice when it's not, right? And the great justice that happens in Harry Potter is that, it turns out that's not true. But then the greater injustice is that this Lord Voldemort fella, this guy who wants to, for some reason, just he's just a bad person, right? Just the most archetypal villain that you can imagine. He kills people because he wants to. He's had a bad childhood or whatever, so he kills people, and he wants to kill this innocent teenage boy because some words told him to, for no good reason besides a prophecy. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, but like he read some magic words, and now he wants to kill our protagonist that we love, this boy. It's an unfairness that's going to happen, right? It's this story about like, oh, that sucks. That's a thing I would like to not have happen to me. And, you know, like, we like reading the book because he gets justice in the end. He kills Voldemort, and even though the injustice was done to him, it turned into a good thing. Despite being a, there are 8 lunatics who dislike the stream. They're a waste of the earth. Love you dudes, says Tamiyar. Thank you, Tamiyar. I appreciate that. But, yeah, despite the great injustice, the world became a better place as a result of Harry Potter, right? Like, oh yeah, he vanquished all the all the bad wizards. What are they called? The dark wizards. They've got a term. Like they got the marks on their hands. The Dementors. No, the Mentors. Anyway, they got a term. He got. They're all like vanished now, in prison probably. It's implied. And also the bad thing over the thing was dead. The idea of like a great inequality, a great injustice, a great bad thing happening to someone as a result of something outside of their control is the same story we tell over and over again. The reason the Bible is the most printed book ever is because it came up with the idea. Also, Death Eaters. I'm an idiot. Death Eaters. I was like, you know, it's someone. It's like, Death Eaters is such a dumb name, but, you know, again, it doesn't matter about the names. The individual details, the 7 books where you learn about butterbeer and stuff, they're all interesting parts of the story. They're interesting to hear about and to learn about. But also, thank you, Tamiyar, again. I feel like I brushed over you, but thank you. I appreciate it. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan too, about Russia. But you eat death, that's pretty cringe. It really is, right? But so the greatest story that's ever been told is the biggest the biggest injustice that's ever happened. You know, to a fella who is literally, you know, the son of God supposedly, right? Like this guy who is, you know, the most benevolent being there has ever been, supposedly. And because some like arbitrary blah 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 blah, because he upset some people in power, those people in power decided we're gonna kill him, and so they did. They hung, and they didn't just kill him. Like they hung him on a cross, like nailed him to a cross. Do you know how painful it'd be to be like, even standing like this for too long hurts me. If I leave my arms up like this, it hurts. Now imagine like days, you know, like slowly dying from the bloodless or whatever. That's a bad way to go. You know, that's the reason the cross is the religious symbol for Christianity. And, you know, the reason the story is so shareable and, like, so many people spread it is because, like, this super big injustice happened, but it's not all for bad. The big injustice happened, and you can take advantage of it because, you know, he died, you know, for your sins somehow. Again, the logic is, I don't perfectly follow it, but, like, he died because of what you did, and therefore the best thing you can do is to live your best life so it doesn't happen again. You know, you messed up by making that happen once as humans. Try to be better humans so it doesn't have to happen again. Is, like, I think the vague message. I'm not. Again, I don't interpret the Bible or anything. I don't think it's not my personal realm of belief. But that's the reason that's the biggest story ever told, that billions of people have read and is in so many languages, is because what makes a great story is a great injustice, a great unfairness. Like, I can't believe that just, you know, even the literal son of a holy being would be killed by humans. Doesn't that show how messed up we humans are? And doesn't that show that we should be better? Like, we can take that and we can learn from it. Yeah, and like every story kind of takes the same basic thing. Like most good fiction stories, you know, you could take and you could do the exact same thing. There's some bad things, and that's no good. I've been watching F is for Family recently. You know, it's the same basic setup. There's this guy who works really hard at the airport, I want to say. I think he works at the airport. there's this guy who works hard at the airport, but despite that fact, he like can't get ahead in life. He's like barely staying afloat above water. And it's like, oh yeah, his life sure does suck. But you know, we turn it into comedy sometimes, like his life sucks, and that is hilarious. Can you imagine Jesus' second coming and finding out crosses being like, they wear what around their necks? I do definitely think that's funny. That like, oh yeah, the way we symbolize this is, you know, it's like if I died a death of 1,000 like wolves, and everyone's like, you know what? Let's honor Toy Cat by putting wolves around our neck. And it's like, wait, what? I just started that show too, says Shravia. Yeah, I'm not sure if I like it yet. I want to like it, but I'm not sure I'm there yet. So we'll have to keep on seeing, I guess. Was it here? I feel like it was there. I'm not sure though. We might have to fall off just to go back up again. Well, you know, we'll just follow the grid as it goes this way, because we should be able to see it down. There we go. We can see it here. Let's just keep placing it in line with this. So we place a block there, and then so on and so forth. There are some bad things, and that's not good. Yeah, I mean, that's what humanity ultimately boils down to. Like, the world is an unfair place, and we all dislike it. But the question is, half, why is it an unfair place? And part, what can you do about it? Some people resign themselves to it so bad that there's nothing you can do. Some people resign themselves to it so bad, the only thing you can do is topple everything. If we make everything worse, then maybe things will get better. But for the majority of people, the best thing you can do is to cooperate with your fellow human beings and to just make the world a slightly better place. For anyone who... Yeah, in reality, the best thing you can do. Because people always think, like, super globally on there, like, how do we fix a thing? And it's like, how do you fix the problems that are inherent in, I don't know, like, if you dislike the system of capitalism, because it's not a perfect system. I mean, no system that runs an entire world is going to be anywhere close to perfect. And it's like, well, how do you fix that? And it's like, well, you can try and fix the whole system that, almost a 6 billion people are running on. Sure, you can try and fix that, like this system that doesn't even have rules that are set in place, by the way. The solutions are you can try and fix the problem, or you can try and make things better, or like you can focus on a problem at more local people. Like, okay, so what's the actual problem here? And that's actually, to bring it like all back. That's why I like people who want to like fix a problem. Doesn't matter what problem. Doesn't matter how big or small. The world is just a load of problems that have got to be solved, and we got people who can solve them, and we got people who cannot. Because I think I mentioned this before, but like, there's this fun thing. Like, I have this every video I ever make, especially like the higher concept videos. I just recorded a video about war crimes you can commit in Minecraft, the Geneva Conventions, how you can break them. Don't ask why. Let's just say it's a thing. I spent like hours, maybe like a full day, like I'd say maybe like 10 hours working on like which ones you can actually break. How would you do it in Minecraft? Blah 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 blah. I spent so long on this thing, and at the end of those 10 hours, I was like, I hate this thing. It sucks. And the logical thing to do, not the logical, like the thing I wanted to do beyond anything else was to be like, yeah, this sucks. Let's just never release it. It's so ingrained. Like I would like nothing more than to just burn this project to the ground. But instead of like, okay, how do we fix this? How do we make this better? How do we improve it from where it is right now? Flipping like the table is such a. It's always the goal. It's the easiest solution. That I've always, like, you've got to like train your brain out of as like, well, you know, you can't flip the table because you didn't get the right juice this morning. You can't flip the table because X, Y, Z. Why can you flip the table? Well, there's got to be some justification for it, but like if someone is cheating at the game, stop them from cheating. Use that as a as a thing that is there as a threat to stop them. Like, hey, if you keep cheating, I won't play the game with you. I might even flip the thing. So, Kat, do you still smell like Ted Baker, Lamau? Did I ever smell like Ted Baker, Thomas Longasser? You know, the cologne I use right now, I haven't used it in months because I've been inside, not going on dates or any activity that would involve meeting people. I don't know why I said dates. You know, maybe I do talk about dates too much, but I have this cologne called Travel, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna do that thing where I arbitrarily buy a cologne, might as well be one that matches some words that I agree with. What a nice chill stream. I agree. It's been a nice chill time. Thank you for coming along today, everyone. I had a wonderful time, and I hope some of you did as well. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. No, if you enjoyed the stream, then you being here, that's nice by itself. That is already, you're already doing more than the majority of people can or will do. But if you want to support any further and you don't want to do the whole tip-in thing because you're like, well, it's, you know, what's the point of everything? It's already free. You know, that's just bad finance. So maybe that's true. So if that is you, then I'd say you can subscribe. I really appreciate that. You can watch any video. Like if you want, one of the interesting things is like if you just watch a video slightly further through than the average. That's like one of the cooler things you can do to help. Turn on those notifications so you see more videos and indeed future live streams. But yeah, I hope you had a good day today because I did personally. We the world need a Toy Cat the Philosopher YouTube channel. You're stating a ton of truths that people need to hear, says Anders Pack. I never like to be the guy who's like, I have things that you should hear. Like, I have things that I'd like you to hear, and while you're hearing my audience, you should do it. And I feel uncomfortable about, like, the moment you try to, like, throw it onto people rather than them throwing it onto you. It's, like, a little bit of a discomfort. That's why, like, I like these streams you can choose to shop. You can choose not to watch. You can disagree with my opinion on things, because you're not. I'm going to be wrong about some stuff. That's just nature of being human. But, I don't like if I call it like Toy Cat the Philosopher, it's like it's a whole new realm of scrutiny and I don't know, it seems like just a way to open myself into like it seems like a less useful. I know, like I feel like the usefulness of something is almost directly proportional to what you expect. Like no one is actively seeking like this live stream in and of itself. I feel like you almost find people by surprise. And I think that's better, even though that sounds super dumb now that I say it out loud. But you know, everything sounds dumb if you say it out loud, which is why I'm gonna leave the stream. Thank you, Anders Pack. I'm glad. I hope things are indeed well in Sweden. I'm glad I was like a mini life coach for you. That's something that I really like hearing. Also, I'm glad I lit up anyone's evening, including yours, Carlos Lil 2000. And yeah, I hope you have a great evening. Or if you don't want to have a great evening, I hope you have a bad one. You know, have the evening you want to have. That's my high quality advice. Have an evening of a quality that you think you deserve. Unless you don't think you deserve an evening at all. In which case, you know what? Get out of here. Skedaddle. Thank you for watching. I said this like 5 times. I'm just going to say thank you for watching over and over again. I made some really good progress with the torches today. So that's nice. And if you want to see more live streams, they're in the unlisted live streams playlist. And also, yeah, that's everything. See you tomorrow for the Let's Play. And probably like Tuesday for another stream. I don't know. Goodbye. Wait. I just had the best idea. Oh no. working. It is I, Toy Cat the sheep, telling you. Thank you for your... Wait. This is so hard to do effectively. There we go. It is I, Toy Cat the sheep, telling you that I appreciate your coming along today. Goodbye.